Now let's work with this example where it's 5, 6 plus 2 over 3a, equals to negative 4. Now the reason I want to cover this example is a way to preview and how to apply this process to the complicated examples we're going to go on next. So let's take a look at our denominators, which is 6 and 3a. Now you have to find common denominator between 6 and 3a. So let's talk about like the first fraction, factors of 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the 6 into two factors. So 5 over two factors that multiply into 6. So instead of 1 and 6, I'm going to use 2 and 3. And then everything else will stay the same for the time being. Alright. Now, if you analyze closely to our denominators, the first fraction has two factors, 2 and 3. The second fraction has also two factors, the 3 and the a. In order to get a common denominator, or to combine these two fractions with the same denominator, they need to all have the common factors. So 2 and 3 on the first one, and 3 and a on the second one. So right now, both fraction has a 3 in it. Now in the first fraction, it has a 2, but it's missing that a. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to multiply the first fraction to the numerator and denominator by a, because that's what's missing. And usually what I do is, sometimes I would write LCD, lowest common denominator, to identify what factors that the two fraction needs to have. So in this case, 2, 3, and a. Basically, 2 times 3 times a is 6a. But I broke it down so that you see it parts by parts in a simpler version. Now in the second fraction, it has a 3, but it's missing that 2 while it has that a. So the only thing that was missing was just that 2. So I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 2. Now when you multiply a times 2 times 3, that would be 6a. Over here, 2 times 3 times a, that will also be 6a. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to write the separate factors next to each other. That's it. But I'm still going to multiply the numerator. So the first fraction would be 5a over 2 times 3 times a, plus 2 times 2, 4, over 2 times 3 times a. Now the order doesn't really matter if they are just multiplying to each other. But again, the reason I wrote it like this is a preview of the final examples that we're going to be working next. It looks complicated, but the process, the patterns are all the same. So again, once these two fractions are the same, they have a 2, they have a 3, they have a, we can combine as one fraction. So it's going to be 5a plus 4 over 2 times 3 times a equals to negative 4. Alright, now here we can actually continue working, and it's going to be the same process as the previous examples, but in the following examples it's going to be much different steps. But again, the process is going to be the same. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify the 2 times 3 times a, switch it out with my 6a. So I'm going to write over here to have more room. So 5a plus 4 over 6a equals to negative 4. Now since we have a fraction on the left side, I'm going to multiply both sides by 6a. So that way, this will divide, and I won't have any more fraction. So what we're going to have It's just 5a plus 4 equal negative 4 times 6a will be negative 24a. From there, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cancel out the 5a so that I get 4 by itself. Minus 5a, minus 5a. Sorry, I'm missing that a right here. So 4 equals negative 24a minus 5a will be negative 29a. And then to solve for a, divide both sides by negative 29. So my answer for this will be a equal negative 4 over 29a. I mean, negative 4 over 29, excuse me. And this will be our final answer. Now, while we're working rational equation, even though in the 3 examples that we did, all 3 answers came out as fraction, which is okay. Just be expected that sometimes it's okay to have whole numbers as our answers. But the main goal for this example was to see how when you were combined with fractions, we had 3 factors, and once they have common factors in both fractions, you can combine as 1. Now the ones that's different with this example versus the one that we're going to cover is that our LCD can be written as 6a. And once it's written like that way, then you can solve normally just like the previous 2 examples that we did. But the final example will be a bit different.